we have already our next speaker who's ready for his talk. Happy to welcome Deepak Bhosale. He's General Manager IT at Asian Paints. I found actually, I think beginning of this year, a quite interesting video about a complete digital twin of his plant. And I thought it's a super interesting topic for our conference. Now we have to do it virtual, but I'm really happy that he can show us also some insights in this digital twin project. Some background about Deepak. So he's responsible for the digital agenda for Asian Paints, and in this role he's working with the CDO and CIO, and also before he was highly involved in digital engineering, and is also quite interested in or passionate about customer touch points. So again, I think that's a topic that follows us the whole day and reflects how important the connection to your customers are. So Deepak, if you are ready, the stage is yours.
Yeah, thank you, Andrea, and it's indeed a pleasure to be on this forum. I shall do a screen share before I get started. Here you go. I hope this is visible.
Yeah,
Andrea?
we can see your slides.
Yeah, is it fine?
Yes. Yeah, now it's also the presentation mode. Perfect.
Yeah, thanks, Andrea. The world definitely is rebooting, and this mode of interacting with professionals is indeed helping all of us to cope with the new normal. And I'm so excited about having access straight into your homes and having this conversation. Gentlemen, my name is Deepak, as Andrea said, and I've been in the industry for over 2 decades, experience over engineering and paint companies, largely been on the technology space, while I've been in the capacity of some business roles as well. As I speak, my KPIs or my deliverables or accountability is largely in bringing digital transformation using disruptive technologies, and this spans across the various group companies of Asian Paints. So today I would be talking about one specific such project which I have done, which was personally involved, and about using the latest technologies in creating a digital twin for a manufacturing plant, and how we have created value in the process. So before I get going a little more on Asian Paints, we are India's #1 paint company, perhaps the 3rd largest paint company in the world, or I guess we are the 9th largest coatings company in the world, 3rd in Asia, and we have a turnover of around 2.7 billion USD. We have customers around 60 countries, and that's where you will see some of our international brands. You would see Topmans, you would see Cledisco in Ethiopia, you would see Skib in Egypt, Causeway in Sri Lanka. So we have got a multiplicity of those brands operating. We've also have non-paint businesses. We are having a kitchen brand and a bathroom fitting brand, as we have already ventured into the home improvement space. Manufacturing, we got around 26 plants across the world. And we would, in India specifically, where I'm going to relate this case about, we would have around close to 70,000 retailers. So the business model is largely about Asian Paints selling to the retailers, who in turn selling to our customers. And in this business model, the interior designers and the contractors are a huge influence set, and that they help us drive our business. So Asian Paints, as I speak, is in the midst of a transformation. We've always been a company which has constantly been innovating. That's why we have been having this leadership of over 50 years. We have been market leaders in India, and we have been rated as one of the most innovative companies by Forbes. I guess we were the ninth most innovative company in the world when Tesla and Amazon's were in the first five a couple of years ago. So that's largely because the DNA of the company is to constantly keep transforming themselves. And this is a company which started in 1942 when four entrepreneurs came together like a startup in a garage company which began to manufacture paint and distributed through bicycles. Since then, we have focused a lot on our supply chain capabilities in terms of setting up plants across the country, setting up distribution networks, and today we have one of the best supply chain engines in the world. In early 2000, we also ventured into direct to customer services. So from being a paints company to becoming paints and services. And as I speak now, we are again at a cusp of another big transformation wherein we are venturing ourselves or already ventured ourselves into the home decor business. So when mean home decor today, we are looking at offering our customers a completely renovated and beautiful home, a home which should have paints, wallpapers, furnitures, curtains, everything that goes to create a beautiful home is what we would be working with. And since our acquisitions in the kitchen and bathroom fitting space are coming of good use here, and we are also having a host of partnerships along with whom we would be able to actually deliver the customer's dream. So what's largely the goal is about, if you see, it's about bringing joy to people's lives. So this is a space wherein we emotionally connect with the customer and ensure that whatever we do revolves around bringing that joy to our customers' lives. And for such a goal, in terms of bringing joy and partnering with our customers, we will definitely need to partner in a way. We will be able to create that beautiful home together, align a partner ecosystem, and there would be certain levers, strategic levers, which are required for us to do well. And the four which I can think of is about better decision making. How do you go about ensuring that people are able to take far better decisions than they would normally do? How are your decisions going to be data backed? How do we integrate with our ecosystem, with our partner, with various expertise across? How does digital tie the whole thing up? How are we innovating? Are we constant? Because this is a space which is extremely crowded with unorganized players. How do we come with a special value proposition which will allow us to be different? And the third one, which is of supreme importance, is about how customer centric are we? How are we able to understand the needs of a customer on a ongoing basis? The needs could be the stated needs or the implied needs or the unstated needs. So these are four levers which I guess which will really help us achieve our goal. But you'll need a fulcrum to move along with this lever, and I believe that's where digital steps in, and we're looking at digital as a big fulcrum to really help us use these levers and really bring this joy to our people's lives. So what is the digital fulcrum which I just talked about all about? So because digital is a very extremely used and or abused word. The way we look at digital transformation is all about accelerating transformation of business activities, processes, competencies, and business models by leveraging opportunities of thrown up by digital technologies. You would see digital technologies keep changing. And it was the internet, and then it followed by social media platforms. And now, as we speak, artificial intelligence, cloud, quantum computing, RPA, all these are new technologies which are throwing a different set of opportunities. So, as a company, if you are really on the digital drive, you'll always need to keep at looking at these technologies to bring about changes in your own processes and competencies. And some of the three areas which I see are high impact or high relevance are customer experiences. How is that digital is used to bring about providing your customers seamless, contextual, and personalized experiences? How is digital helping you to bring in efficiencies in your operations? How is digital spread across your supply chain, manufacturing, finance, and other areas which go on to deliver value to the customer? And that's where I would be focusing this case always. But what I'm more fascinated about is about digital helping you launch products and services in terms of creating your own digital avatars of your products and services. And can these digital avatars or digital twins really help you open up newer avenues of business, especially on the customer side? So the way we look at digital is we adopt a 360-degree approach to digital, and we believe that digital is not to be just looked at from a sales, marketing, and commercial point of view. It needs to be democratized. It needs to reach every corner of your organization, because it is no longer strategic in that sense. It's more of hygiene, and hence every function, every part of your organization needs to adopt digital and craft an agenda for themselves. So some of the digital experiences we've already worked on is in terms of we have created algorithms which will help us improve our forecasting. The traditional forecasting tools give a certain level of accuracy. We have used AI and ML to ensure that we further refine that. We have used a lot of recommendation. We built a recommendations engines which will emulate AI, ML-like capabilities, and help us recommend products to our retailers, colors and decor related elements to our customers. We also used digital to launch bots for employees to improve the retailing experience. A lot of digital is getting used in the cybersecurity space in terms of better threat detection, and also the digital twin, which I shall shortly cover upon. So how do we leverage digital in COVID times? And I thought this was interesting considering the context. Since we were already on the digital path, and this has been a philosophy of a company, we have our set of contractors who typically go about painting houses. And painting and decorating houses, and so since we had already digitized them, and when COVID 19 struck India, these people were actually left with no work to do, and hence but to sustain their lives, to sustain their families, they needed money. And because we were digitally connected, we were able to transfer their entire loyalty points in a matter of a day, and they had money in their wallets where they could keep going in terms of sustaining their families. And this is how we were actually really helping them on the digital side. We've also taken digital to educate customers about safe painting, safe decorating services. We've launched WhatsApp related bots for our retailers, so they can actually place their orders without on their own, without actually having to physically call a contact center in that sense. So that in a sense gave them then autonomy. And for customers who actually wanted to get started on in terms of renovating their homes, we launched self-service tools which will allow them to go about doing some of the designs on their own. So this is how we've been able to leverage with digital, and this is largely because we've been aggressively on digital side for some time now. Coming to the case which I wanted to really take you all through, it's about how digital is getting leveraged in manufacturing, and how specifically we have used the concept of creating a digital twin for a manufacturing unit. Before we get there, just a broad view. While we have 26 manufacturing units across the world and servicing 60 plus customers in 60 plus countries, the ones in India are one of the most automated paint plants in the world. I'll show you a glimpse of how they look. And today there is so much of automation which has gone into every aspect of the plant, and and which has significantly reduced the amount of people one needs to operate the plant. These plants are built for scale, because of the huge demand in India, and this demand also being a bit seasonal. You need to have plants which are extremely agile. A lot of our paint consumption happens during seasons, and you would see a huge spike, and hence these plants are built for scale. And these manufacturing plants service, as I said, more than 70,000 retailers who place an order on a near daily basis on us. And we have service levels like 2 hours for city dealers. So a dealer wanting to placing an order in a city gets his paints delivered within 2 hours, and such service levels have been unheard of across the world, largely because we have one of the as I said, best supply chain setup, which becomes a very important competitive lever for us. So here I shall just take you through a glimpse of our plant, and I don't know. Here it is. So as you would see, it is completely driven by robots. We have a huge storage and retrieval system which scales up multiple meters vertically. There's a lot of sensor-driven equipment. So if you look at typically a paint plant, it will have certain pre-batching activities, which are which wherein you feed in the raw materials required to create a batch from your silos. You would have conveyors, you have weigh hoppers, charge hoppers, and then it gets into the batch where you really need to mix it. You need to take it to a certain temperature. You need to grind it to a certain extent with a lot of rotors, and then it moves into a filling machine. Filling machines are the ones which will package it through various packaging lines, and then it gets and a lot of robotic arms which you saw in the video would really help you manage that. At a technology layer, you would have a host of applications, software system which is supporting this, but largely it will be the manufacturing ERP. In our case, we use SAP to manage our entire manufacturing process. We have DCS and an MES there. You would have a host of other systems which are not mentioned, like SCADA, Historian, etc., etc. So when you look at this, how did the idea of a digital twin germinate? Somewhere there was a feeling that there's a lot of data available, and most of these data today probably was in silos, and each manager or executive was dipping into a silo to probably derive insights, and that in a way was not the most agile way of doing it. Second, we were having a digital agenda which was getting driven across the organization, which we're calling an insight-driven organization. We wanted to really look at how do you use data analytics to really improve the overall decision making across the organization. And we wanted to, so we crafted an agenda where we say, can you use data analytics for higher productivity, consistent quality, and that's where we all got together and tried to explore opportunities, and we got into a design thinking workshop, try to understand the type of decisions being taken in a plant, how much of that were intuition driven, how much of that were largely reactive. Were there were there any scope for actually getting into a zone where you can start predicting outcomes? And post the design thinking workshop, a lot of possibilities emerge, a lot of use cases emerge where data could actually help us drive better decision, and that's where we plotted all of them. And to drive these use cases, we thought we really need to have all data points at one place and create a digital twin which will allow us to simulate problems and understand how how the twin would react, and accordingly based take your decision. So that's how we got into this zone of creating a digital twin of the plant. So objective was to integrate mine data and process data from different touch points in manufacturing plants. The second was to empower users for a better decision making, easy root causing analysis, and have a better hold on operational issues. The third was used to use and apply data analytics tools to predict the outcomes and take corrective actions and move from being reactive to being more proactive. So with those objectives, we went about setting up the entire, this looks like this is a broad level snapshot. It largely has data sources on the left hand side, which could be third-party data sources. We use third-party data sources. We use weather.com's data to see the impact of weather on our manufacturing processes. We had data coming from SAP systems, DCS, PLCs, and a lot of local master data which was getting maintained. We got into an acquisition layer, and then after it was acquired, it had to be harmonized because this data was a mix of both structured and unstructured data, and that's where we had to use a lot of AI ML technologies to ensure that we got this harmonization layer right. And then this got visualized in some user-friendly dashboards, which allowed you to quickly drag and drop data elements and create your own insights, and then should allow you ideally to get into a data prediction zone. So we aligned with a startup called Site Machines in San Francisco to allow us to carry some of these digital enablements, and they did come with an expertise of having done similar work in a client in New Zealand, and that really helped us learn faster as we had experts working on this. So what is the cycle time? Well, there are multiple cases. I'll focus on the cycle time reduction challenge. If you look, the cycle times for creating, for manufacturing plane typically range from 3 to 5 hours. And how do you go about reducing that cycle time? So what we did is we got all the plant operators and managers. We got them trained on this new system and taught them how to visualize data. And it took us a day or so to get them up to pace in terms of how to navigate through the system. A lot of hypotheses were made in terms of what they believed is happening in the plant. And then we looked at various data points which are required to analyze them. We arrived at close to around 32 to 35 data points which are required. An interesting thing which we did was we conducted a hackathon for the plant operators, and over a matter of 2 days, they were able to really create their hypothesis, look at what the insights were being thrown by the system, and it arrived at 88 ideas over these 2 days, and all these ideas were towards how one could reduce the cycle time. So clearly, this is the ideas which came right from the people who were operating from the floor, using their own data, which was now all at one place, and making sense out of that data. So this was a phase which everybody was extremely excited about, the possibilities of looking at further avenues for reducing cycle time, because before this project, they had actually done a lot of work in terms of optimizing and have sort of exhausted all possible avenues for reducing cycle time, and data analytics was looked at the next frontier in terms of looking at more insights which probably they would have not seen of or heard of before. And that itself was pretty energizing, and that led to 88 insight points. So these were the type of analysis they were doing. This is where they could actually get into and check at an equipment level what was the performance, trying to correlate different equipments and saying what was the dependency of one equipment to the other equipment. And they've got heat maps in terms of checking how various zones were actually becoming bottlenecks. So this actually opened up minds like a parachute in terms of what all one could do in order to land in a zone of higher productivity. So some of the insights which really drove into actions, like my product X has a cycle time higher than the average, and delay seems to be happening in the feeding lines. And somebody would really go about checking why the feeding line is posing problem, or the dispenser getting fed from an older block has higher cycle times because because of the last maintenance activity. So is there a correlation between the last maintenance done here? or product X is having a higher grinding time in the TSD number 10 since last 4 weeks, and it coincides with the changes made to the raw materials. So these were insights which were very difficult to get earlier, because then you would have to pull information from so many different systems, take it into Excel, and Excel would have its own limitation. Now these were available at the tip of your fingers, and this really led to a different level of agility. So cycle time was reduced to 7% within 2 months from all the action plans which we got, which we associated with the ideas which came out. And this means a lot, because you're getting cycle time reductions on an optimized plant, and you're getting cycle time reductions without any investment in capex. So that itself was extremely powerful for all of us. And this really got noticed by every function within the organization. The other plants wanted to really take on this challenge and look at what sort of possibilities existed there. So benefits, cycle time improvements without capex, as I said. The other big benefit which I thought was in terms of this entire culture of looking at data to make decisions. So how do you moving them from more from an intuition driven decision making to more database data driven. Secondly, the fueling that inquisitiveness across the plant, so that they look at elements which probably are not looked before, and look at possible sources of further productivity improvements. The other element which I could see was the plant operators who were doing a certain level of operations today with this data were able to perform in a plane which was a level higher than what they used to operate before, which probably their executives and managers were doing. So we have sort of the data analytics and the digital twin sort of allows them to, with the democratization of this digital twin, it allows them to perform at a skill level higher than what they would have been operating till date, and I see that as phenomenal. Secondly, moving as we speaking, while we started off doing a lot of diagnostic and descriptive in terms of analyzing the way it has gone by. We are now moving into a zone where we are now getting into a prescriptive zone. So how do you start predicting the quality of the batch as it is happening? How do you start predicting the cycle times of the batch as it is happening? And can you start taking actions based on a real-time basis? Can you stop the batch? Can you make those additions? Can you bring about those tweaks? So this is the zone which we are getting into, and this is more in terms of ensuring we have extremely good quality the first time. And this in a sense gives a lot of control to the plant operators. So that itself creates a very empowering type of a feeling. So the road ahead, the learnings and gains accrued have been taken to the other plants, and that's how the excitement has spread across. Newer cases have already been picked up in terms of how do you, as I mentioned, how do you get the perfect quality right the first time? Can you take up another zone is about can you do predictive maintenance while a lot of while the plant goes down for maintenance for a couple of weeks every year. And now can you change that and start analyzing every machine in the plant progressively and see that can you get into a zone where you can do progressive maintenance and keep maintaining parts of the plant part by part and avoid a total downtime. So those are all possibilities which are getting explored. Predictive analytics, I said, is a huge opportunity, and what this has done is the success of this digital twin has really fueled other cases across the organization, not just the manufacturing, but also in supply chain and other functions. And this is really giving the entire insight-driven organization a good boost. So that's the story I wanted to share about what we have done on the digital twin and how it has helped us reduce the cycle time. And for me, it is just the beginning of a very exciting journey for us. And I hope whatever has been spoken by me now was useful and some way added value to you, and thank you for having given me a patient hearing. Over to you, Andrea.
Thank you, Deepak, for your presentation and all the insights. I have some questions for you from the audience. I will just read it out. So first question is, have you replicated the cycle time reductions to all other plants?
Yeah, all the other plants are actually would have their own set of challenges, layouts. But yeah, the philosophy has been the same. So we have taken these to 4 more plants, and we have seen higher cycle time reductions there. So this cross pollination of insights across plants is really helping us to bring about a different level of improvement across the organization.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. So now you're already quite advanced with that project. So what are the new use cases that will be targeted afterwards?
Yeah, so this really throws up possibilities in terms of how do you get the entire ecosystem of data which will allow you to do end-to-end quality. What I call it as a connected quality. Can you also start getting in data related to complaints? Can you start getting data related to raw materials? And is there a way you can start correlating between how a particular raw material is impacting the quality, or how a complaint can you trace it back to a manufacturing parameter? Now these are possibilities which are at a concept state, and probably once we explore it or dive into these a little more, probably you might start getting gold as you dig further into this.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so hopefully you can share those best practices then next year at the next event. So thanks again.
Thank you.
And yeah, I think you will also stay here maybe. So if anyone still has other questions, they will be answered.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Okay.